All right. We are going to move into, we're going to move on to the State of the Union and Biden's assessment, Brandon's assessment in a little bit. If there are any additional updates coming from on the ground, we will cover that as well. But for the time being, we're going to talk about the State of the Union.
This morning with President Biden's second State of the Union address, his first in a Republican-controlled House. The president spoke about what he believes are his achievements from his first 2 years in office, including some encouraging signs for the economy, and proposed what he called a blueprint to rebuild America. He pleaded for bipartisanship, but parts of his speech were met with heckling from some members of the GOP. Nancy Cordes is at the White House this morning with more on the speech. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning, David. Yes, this may have been the rowdiest State of the Union in history. President Biden was literally yelled at repeatedly by some of his opponents. In other ways, though, this felt like a soft launch of his re-election bid, laying out his past accomplishments and describing what he wants to do with the rest of this term.
The President of the United States.
President Biden's second State of the Union address started with a show of bipartisanship as he congratulated the new House Speaker, Republican Kevin McCarthy.
Speaker, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you.
But the night quickly took a turn. McCarthy had to shush members of his own party at least 4 times as they booed and interrupted the president when he talked about China, about fentanyl, and when he noted that some Republicans have proposed cutting Medicare and Social Security.
Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you, I enjoy conversion.
Marjorie Taylor Greene was an absolute unhinged psychopath. I mean, complete psychopath yesterday. Just going bananas mode, dressed up like a fucking villain. It's really odd that conservatives have so many liberties. Like, they can do these like weird aesthetic things without any sort of additional scrutiny from their side. Whereas, like, if AOC did anything of the sort, she would be obliterated. You know what I mean? By liberals and conservatives alike.
So, folks, as we all apparently agree, Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be stopped. All right.
With a re-election bid likely right around the corner, the president focused on economic improvements.
The unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year low.
And he touted the $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure law, which is already paying to modernize roads, bridges, and more.
I want to thank my Republican friends who voted for the law, and my Republican friends who voted against it as well. But I still get asked to fund the projects in those districts as well. But don't worry. I promised I'd be a president for all Americans. We'll fund these projects.
The president did make one quick reference to the suspected Chinese spy balloon that was shot down off the coast of South Carolina over the weekend.
If China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country, and we did.
Attending the address as guests of the president were the parents of Tyree Nichols.
Welcome.
Their son was beaten to death last month. 5 Memphis police officers are now facing charges.
I know most cops and their families are good, decent, honorable people, the vast majority. But what happened to Tyree in Memphis happens too often. Let's come together to finish the job on police reform.
He is simply unfit to serve as commander-in-chief.
Delivering the Republican response was Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She is the new governor of Arkansas and the former Trump administration press secretary.
The Biden administration is doubling down on crazy.
Oh, my God. Whereas Sarah Huckabee Sanders, is the face of what is known as sane. Love that for her. That's cool to see. You know, you love to see it, folks. That's interesting.
She accused the White House of being more interested in, quote, woke fantasies than in the hard realities Americans face.
I'm the first woman to lead my state, and he's the first man to surrender his presidency to a woke mob that can't even tell you what a woman is.
One of the most unusual exchanges last night actually came before the president's speech. It was between two Republicans, George Santos of New York and Senator Mitt Romney of Utah. Santos was standing along the aisle. You see him there in that orange tie. Romney reportedly called him a sick puppy and said he had no shame. Take a listen.
Given the fact that he's under...
Damn, bro. He's like, listen, you can't even call Mitt Romney a bad guy or homophobic. He is, after all, in love with a bisexual woman, Kristen Sinema. Okay? Also, that's a joke. Please don't fucking take the uncharitable approach and be like, Hasan, you can sexualize a bisexual woman while simultaneously fucking blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. Okay? I'm already like arguing against people in my mind that I've made up that are inevitably going to have takes that are just counterintuitive. Ay. I'm so broken, dude. I'm so fucking broken. Anyway, Twitter PTSD. I know. It's just like, is a fucking trauma response. Yeah. How can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay, said Mitt Romney. Yeah, I'm no longer being one guide. I'm being zero guide. I'm being no guide.
Ethics investigation. He should be sitting in the back row and staying quiet instead of parading in front of the president and people coming into the room.
Santos, as you may recall, is facing multiple investigations into campaign financing after a barrage of lies about his background and his qualifications were revealed after he was elected. Tony?
Yeah, at a certain point, you got to realize, like, I'm arguing with the future, okay? Whenever a woman gets kicked out of a comedy club just for laughing, she looks like this. Oh, that's such a good fucking take. Just for laughing. She's so unhinged and like basically all politics is theater and she's just leaning into that. You feel me? Santos tried it. Oh, yeah. Hey, Mitt Romney, you will never president. And then deleted it. Coward. After Mitt Romney said
That he'd be standing there trying to shake hands with every senator and the president of the United States. Given the fact that he's under ethics investigation, he should be sitting in the back row and staying quiet instead of parading in front of the president and people coming into the room.
Did he respond to you?
Look, he says that he embellished his record. Look, embellishing is saying you got an A when you got an A-. Lying is saying you graduated from a college you didn't even attend. And he shouldn't be in Congress, and they're going to go through the process and hopefully get him out. But he shouldn't be there, and if he had any shame at all, he wouldn't be there.
Why did you make a point to say that, though? I mean, it was kind of out of your way to.
Well, he was standing right there in the aisle, shaking hands with everybody.
Did he respond to you?
He may have. I didn't hear
Are you
anything he said.
disappointed that Kevin McCarthy is not calling him to resign?
Yes.
Senator Romney.
What did he say?
It's not the first time in history that I've been told to shut up and go to the back of the room.
Oh, dude, he's hitting the fucking line. He's like, I'm a gay man.
Time in history that I've been told to shut up and go to the back of the room, especially by people who come from a privileged background. And it's not going to be the last, and I'm never going to shut up and go to the back of the room.
He is such a liberal, dude. It's awesome. He is such a sassy bitch, too. Much respect.
And I think it's reprehensible that the senator would say such a thing to me in the demeaning way he said it. Wasn't very Mormon of him. It's not the first time in history that I've been told to shut up and go to the back of the room.
I don't understand what he's trying to say. Is he saying that this is what's happening to, like, is he saying that this happened to him because he's gay? Is he saying he's black? Is he equating himself to Rosa Parks? Like, layers upon layers upon layers. You know what I mean? It's fire. It could be any of those things or all of the motherfucking above. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck. BLM. Yeah. Maybe he's saying he's black now. I don't know. I think it's pretty funny. Libs shaking with joy from the Sodu. Ay, ay, ay. What part of his like assumed identity is George Santos talking about when he says that? Ryan Grimm, by the way, we caught this hot mic moment last night and we covered it. Ryan Grimm seems to think that there's a positive coming out of it. Bob, I've got to talk to you about Cuba. Bob Menendez is nervous and skeptical and says, okay. Biden says, I'm serious. Menendez is an extreme Cuba hawk and the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations and is not going to like that conversation, I suspect. So that could potentially be, some sanctions relief or something coming his way. You know what I mean? Hopefully, fingers crossed. It would be nice to just end the embargo altogether. Here was another sexy moment.
Investing in American innovation and industries will define the future that China intends to be dominating. Investing in our alliances.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is fucking chirping. You can hear her in the background. And then Kevin McCarthy, sexy ass Kevin McCarthy hits her with a shush.
Investing in our alliance.
History will not look kindly upon men who try to silence powerful girl bosses, especially at the top of the hour when there's a 3-minute ad break coming. Okay? Now, of course, if you are a powerful girl boss yourself and want to experience an uninterrupted broadcast with no fucking ad breaks at the top of the hour, then all you need to do is subscribe. Kevin McCarthy might try to silence you, but the top of the hour ad breaks certainly won't, because you can subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account or by getting gifted a sub. Jolene Koo Jojo, thank you for the 5 get the subs. Stephosaurus Rect, thank you for the 5 get the subs, allowing 10 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. Bam. We're not going to talk about this absolutely atrocious fit. What is this? Oh, Jesus. Trigger warning, Kirsten Cinema. We like to perform. Every time Kirsten Cinema is brought up to the forefront of the conversation, we like to do bi invisibility on this broadcast. This is my one gift to the bisexual Hasanabi heads. I think this is valid. Right? It's like a peeled banana. Top of the hour bot gave me an 8 for that. That's crazy. Yeah, she does look like Hunger Games. Hunger Games ass government, dude. It was true. Ay, ay, ay. How does she manage to wear the worst outfits of all time? Okay, controversial take. But both of these fits are not all that bad except for this like gross American pendant or whatever she's wearing. It's just that time and place. Like, they are fine in other circumstances. Inside of the fucking State of the Union is insane. Like, that's an insane fucking fit to pull. Also, the person who's wearing the fit also is meaningful. I mean, those glasses are dog shit. I don't think she owns a pair of glasses that go with any of her fucking outlandish fits in general. Kirsten Sinema's fit is probably less redeemable than Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think yours is actually, you know what? This is pretty fucking wild. I don't know. It's just like a Met Gala ass looking fit. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you doing? You're going with the paladin armor. Like, what is that? It's something that I could see potentially working if conducted by, you know, an expert tailor that managed to do something experimental at like the Met Gala. But here, time and place definitely doesn't work. Definitely the dollar store version of that a fit that you would normally see and potentially defend. She's wearing it for the stats till she gets something better. That's funny. It's just fucking insane. Cinema's fit definitely has low armor, but +2 charisma. Bro, Kirsten Sinema could have +100 charisma and it still won't change the fucking facts, okay? She is not getting any, she's failing every persuasion check, except for she has a +200, she has a +200 buff on Mormons, okay? Clearly, this seductress, okay, this succubus has fouled the mind of our good and otherwise honorable Mormon Senator Mitt Romney. Okay? Oh. Give approval on the below. Okay. First wave of the money's going out now. We need to give approval on the below for it to finalize. They will send receipts right after. These donations will be made directly by soft giving to the Ahbap and Akut to expedite any setup time the Turkish charities would require with a donor advised fund. Total balance $411,856 so far out of all the money that has been cleared. CARE will receive their funds directly from the donor advised fund, Giving A, as they are a U.S. based already and already set up. All receipts will be provided upon completion of this wave of donations. Total sent today as the first wave is going to be the total balance, $411,856.37. CARE, $205,928.18. Ahbap, $102,964.09, and Akut gets the same exact amount. And CARE is going to be broken up between the local CARE branches of CARE Turkey and CARE Syria, and the rest are going to Ahbap and Akut. They will provide receipts immediately. Anyway. It's giving financing a global terrorist organization. What? This is just the funds that have been cleared so far, which is $411,000 out of the almost $1 million. Because remember, every single day there are additional funds that need to clear. Care because they're Muslim? No, it's not even that care. Those guys are so stupid. It's CARE. Yeah, and this is not the total. This is not the total. This is not the total. The 411,000 is the 411,000 that is cleared so far. Okay? Basically, like the first day's donations that have finally cleared for release and are authorized for release. Oh, they're talking about Kristen Cinema when it said it's giving funding to a terror organization. Okay. I've seen chatters feeling bad about only donating $1, but I think this is a good time to remind people that anything helps, even if a single dollar. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why I was yelling at chatters before people were like getting mad. Every dollar counts, 100%. Especially because $1 is 18 liras, bro. You kidding me? You know, the conversion actually is big in that regard. It's like almost fucking 20 liras, bro. You kidding me? If every viewer donated $1 right now, we'd push past 1 million. Yeah, but transfer ne zaman olacak yoksa sürekli parça parça mı oluyor? Evet, bu ilk batch. İlk transfer batch'i. Ahbaba gidiyor donation'lar, evet. Hepsi değil ama 4'te biri. Hold on. Cares broken up between. Okay, Carol will see their funds directly from the donor advice fund giving A because they're US based and already set up. All receipts will be provided. Like one bread in Turkey, yeah. How much is 20 lira, Hasan? It just depends, man. If they're not fucking price gouging, you can get a lot of bread with that. If they are price gouging, depending on how hard they're price gouging, like one loaf of bread is supposed to be 5 lira. So for $1, you get fucking 4 loaves of bread. Anyway, it's just... Officially helped raise more money than the Vatican gave. The Italian Roman Catholic Church allocated 500,000 euros for emergency aid. Anyway. Kalanı AFAD hariç nereye gidiyor? Ne AFAD'ı oğlum? AFAD'a gitmiyor para mara. Akut, Ahbap, Care Syria ve Care Turkey. Okay? Söyledim. Anyway, by law, I am the Pope now. Yes. Muslim Pope. On. Dude, I'm so tired. You know what? I'm gonna do something here. Hold on. I'm getting sick. I don't know what it is. But we're at $983,623 at the moment. Okay. Said we were gonna get to 1 million. We're gonna get to 1 million. There you go. And we did. Look at that. I gave another $20,000, which has now officially put us at $1 million. I want to shout out to everyone that has played a role in this. Every dollar counts. That's it. We have now officially hit $1 million on the Turkey-Syria Earthquakes Fund. I hope that this, helps immediately expedite relief and recovery efforts. I want to thank every content creator that has shared this, from H3H3 to Pokimane, Valkyrie to Amaranth to Jardine. I want to thank all the people that work behind the scenes to hit it up as quickly as possible. I want to thank Tadic too. I want to thank all the content creators who also personally donated. Every dollar counts, obviously. Player Unknown donated 20 grand. An anonymous donation, that was 12,500. Telegram ekip 31. Geçmiş olsun Türkiye at Cineflex with $11,100. Ethan Klein with 10,001. Pat 10,000. Jacksepticeye 10,000. Valkyrie 10,000. Doodoo Dab with 5,000. Nick and Milena with 5,000. Saw some pictures of the earthquake. Devastating. Hope this helps. Ludwig with another 5,000. Co Carnage with 5,000. Todic with 5,000. The Soft Giving team itself gave 5,000. And Luna Lux. Whoa, catching up to Ludwig. I guess the bidet business isn't doing so hot. With 4,100. Dumpy 3,500. Tips out. Gifted 3,000. Furious 3,000. WZT says, if you're working, check if your company matches donations with 2,500. No, the stream is not ending. I just wanted to, celebrate this accomplishment. This is a big number. This means almost 19 million Turkish lira. We have accumulated almost 19 million Turkish lira. And as far as what my manager has told me, I'm going to read it directly from him. First wave of money is going out now. We're giving final approval on it to finalize, and they will send the receipts right after. These donations will be made directly by Saf Giving to the Ahbap and Akut to expedite any setup time the Turkish charities would require with the donor advice fund. So they're sidestepping the DAF, something that people were concerned with. CARE will receive half their funds directly from the donor advice fund, Giving A, as they are a U.S.-based and already set up. All receipts will be provided upon completion of this wave of donations, and the total sent today as the first wave is going to be $411,856. This is just the amount of money that is cleared so far in the past 2 days. Okay? So it does not mean that is all the donations, obviously, because the funding has continued. And so the first wave, as I asked them to expedite everything, is going to go $205,928 going to CARE, both to CARE Syria and CARE Turkey. $102,964 going to Ahbap. And another $102,964 going to Akut. Okay? This is just the amount that has been cleared so far. Okay? There you go. Very proud of this community. I'm very proud of this community, even though we have psychopaths like this in here that have been in here for 18 months saying, even in this very moment, why do you hate trans people so much? If trans people can't trust you not to play a video game, how can we trust you with anything else? I'm sorry. Trans, cis, doesn't matter. You have mental illness. Okay? You need to fucking log off. Like, this is an insane thing to do in this very moment. Please, log the fuck off, 18-month subscriber. If you've been in here for 18 months and give me $5 for 18 months and you right now think I'm a fucking transphobe, you are the most psychopathic person I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay? Like, what are you, fucking insane? I haven't even fucking played the game. I'm gonna be honest. This is the kind of stuff that makes it way harder to be fucking. This is the kind of stuff that hurts people, hurts me at least, way more than like all the death threats and shit I get from Nazis. Is like people on ostensibly on my side who have been charitable, who understand that I'm trying to do the right thing and every step of the fucking way, turning around and just literally on a whim being like, dude, you're a bad guy. Everything that you've said in the duration, does that mean $50 million will go to Syria and $50 million to Turkey? No, not 50-50 split. 1/4 is going to CARE Syria. The rest is going to Turkish charities. I expect people on the outside looking into this community to have uncharitable and oftentimes psychopathic fantasies about who I am and what I represent. I don't expect members in this community who have been in here for a very long time to share that similar sentiment. Thank you to Selena. Thank you to Hope and Decay. Says peace be with everyone affected. Love wins. Thank you to I Show Speed. Thank you to Nobody. Thank you to Matt. Thank you to John from Fault for the 2,000. Thank you to Yusuf for the 2,000. Thank you to Twitch for the $2,000. Thank you to Ali and Old Game Dad. These are the top donators as of now. Did I skip the Gill family? No, I did not. Thank you to the Gill family as well. And I show speed. Receipts will be provided, as in the receipts that the donation will or the donor fund will send immediately as a proof, that they have sent over the funds from the amount like that they have cleared thus far. Uf. Abi bazılarınız galiba okuma yazma yok yani. Gözünüzün önünde nereye gittiği para, gözünüzün önünde. Herkes biliyor paranın nereye gittiğini ama hala AFA'da ne kadar para gidiyor diye soruyorlar chatte. AFA'da para gitmiyor. Akut, Ahbap, Care Türkiye ve Care Siria'ya para gidiyor. Okey? Daha ne diyeyim bilmiyorum. Gözünün önündekine bir bak. Twitter work now. Bak hala XQC'ye ulaşmak mantıklı mı diyor. Kafayı yiyeceğim abi. Bak. Bağışı nereye yollayacaksın? Okuma yazman yoksa ne diyeyim bilmiyorum abi. Gerçekten. Ukrayna'ya 20 milyon toplamışsın, daha fazla toplayabiliriz. Bu doğru değil. Bunu nereden duydunuz bilmiyorum. Ben Ukrayna'ya 20 milyon toplamadım. Ukrayna'ya 250 bin, 300 bin dolar topladık. Bu ben hayatımda en fazla topladığım, bir seferde en fazla topladığım rakam, onu söyleyeyim. Cahreyn dedi, yanlış dedi. Ama dinlemiyor amına koduklarım ya. Hiç kimseyi dinlemiyorlar. Cahreyn öyle dememiştir. Yanlış anlamışsınızdır. Neyse, fark etmez. Yeah, big shout out to all the Turkish streamers that are out there doing everything. I mean, look, this amount of money that we have raised is marginal. Okay? It can help. It's certainly impactful. No matter how little or how much you've given. There are people out there who are putting their fucking bodies on the line. You know what I'm saying? There are people out there who are working. There are people out there who have driven over to the sites and are working under horrible weather conditions right now, pulling people out of the rubble. We're just trying to do our part. It's a small part, but we here in the international community are trying to do our very best to help out. Okay? There are some countries that didn't even manage to send 1 million. Yeah, like the Vatican. Get your fucking money up, Pope. Not your funny up, dog. What is this shit? Turns out this community has raised more than double the amount of the fucking Vatican. You know what I mean? Fuck you doing out there, Catholic Church, huh? Pope's too busy fucking blasting joints, being woke as fuck. Broke boy. Yeah, sell your big ass hat. Anyway. More like Vatican. All right. Yeah, fuck the Pope, bro. We're following Mr. Beast now. He's closer to Jesus. He's curing blindness and shit. I'm just saying. Janus Kaisar, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Anyway. Continue. Stop shaming the Pope. Every lyric counts. That's true. I'm just messing around. Just messing around. I'm just fucking around. All right, let's get back to Soto drama. State of the Union drama, baby.
Rachel Scott, Chief Washington Correspondent John Carl. And Rachel, let me begin with you. I've never seen a chamber like that.
Yeah, George, and you said it yourself. It was a rowdy House chamber, at times extremely contentious. I was sitting inside the chamber watching this all unfold as Republican members of Congress heckled the President of the United States. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy warned his conference earlier in the day that the mics are hot, that the cameras are rolling. He wanted this to be civil and respectful. He told reporters after that closed-door meeting that his party would not be engaging in any childish games. But, of course, that all served as a very stark contrast to what we saw play out inside that House chamber, George.
And John, the president had a balancing act last night, pleading for bipartisanship, yet also showing that he's got a lot of fight in him. Did he do what he needed to do?
I really think he did. Look, this was a highly unusual State of the Union address, but this is one of the best speeches that Joe Biden has delivered as president. He came across as optimistic, hopeful. He seemed to be having a good time up there.
This is honestly the favorite position of Democrats, okay? Democrats love being in a position of no power whatsoever, so they can just say insane shit, like things that they are not even remotely interested in actually accomplishing, okay? One of the things, of course, is, the passing the PRO Act. It's just one of many.
And even when he was delivering some of those harsh attacks on Republicans, he was doing it with a smile. Not the name calling he's done in the past. There was no talk of MAGA, extremists, ultra MAGA Republicans. And the reaction from the Republicans, at least the backbench Republicans who were heckling him and jeering him, played exactly into his message. They made the contrast. He was able to, for a moment anyway, George, portray the Republican opposition as a bunch of angry hecklers, people that were bitter and rude. You could see Kevin McCarthy obviously didn't like the image. He was literally shushing Republicans in the chamber.
And John, the official Republican response, a familiar face from the Trump era.
Yeah, Sarah Sanders literally going to Trump's old spokesperson. Her message was very much in keeping with Trumpism. It was harshly negative, almost a bit of American carnage that we saw from Trump in his inaugural address. But one interesting thing, George, Sarah Huckabee Sanders may have invoked Trump, but she never once mentioned his name in that speech.
Right. And finally, Rachel, an unusual and remarkable moment for George Santos right before the speech.
Unusual it was. Congressman George Santos, who is accused of fabricating almost every single detail of his life, positioned himself along the aisle to cross paths with members of Congress that were entering, as well as the president. And then you had Senator Mitt Romney go up to him and say to his face that he does not belong here, saying that he should be embarrassed. Senator Romney told reporters afterwards that he was surprised to see Santos along the aisle, saying that considering all the investigations that he is facing, that he should have been in the back and it should have been remaining quiet instead of parading in front of the President of the United States, asking if he had any shame, George.
Okay, Rachel, Scott, John, Carl, thanks very much.
Well, hey there, GMA. But we're going to begin this hour.
Ooh, let's hear from someone who is even less charismatic than everyone else in this administration, full of charisma-sucked individuals. Kamala motherfucking Harris.
With the State of the Union speech by President Biden last night. Did you stay up late to watch? Yep, you did. This was the first time that he addressed Congress since Republicans took control of the House. And you could say he got some noisy pushback from some GOP lawmakers.
Some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal.
Vice President Kamala Harris joins us now from Washington. Madam Vice President, it's good to see you. I want to get your take on the, good morning, the speech last night. I've heard, because that is one of the storylines this morning, I've heard descriptions of heckled, rude, obnoxious, but the President of the United States seemed to thrive in the give and take at points. What did you make of the tone last night in the room?
Well, good morning, Gail. I'll tell you, I was in the room, obviously, and I think that there sadly tends to be a theatrical element to that evening as time has gone on. But I think the president was in command, and he was focused on the American people as opposed to necessarily.
She just always has this like quiet desperation. Whenever she's like saying stuff, it always feels like she is unsure about what she's about to say. And she's just like, Like, I feel like she's working real hard trying to come across as sincere while simultaneously recognizing that she will never come across that way. You know what I mean?
The gamesmanship that was being played in the room in the clips that you just mentioned. You know, the president started his talk by talking about, with pride, the bipartisan work that has happened between Democrats and Republicans. We passed together an historic infrastructure law, which is putting billions of dollars on the streets of America to repair our roads and bridges and deal with things like laying groundwork for high-speed internet. In fact, since the president passed the bipartisan infrastructure law, there are 20,000 projects that are already underway. The president talked about bipartisanship as solving problems like the need to have serious and smart gun safety laws. That was bipartisan work for the first time in decades.
You know what I thought?
That is taking that issue on.
Madam Vice President, he laid out very nicely what your administration has accomplished and did it in great detail. The thing is, though, the latest polls show Americans still think the economic policies are making their lives worse, that they don't feel better off. What can you do to get the message across? We know the laundry list of all the things that have accomplished, but yet for some reason, for many people, the message isn't translating. What do you say to that? What are you doing about it?
Well, listen, I think that we have to really understand that we went through an historic pandemic, which resulted in the loss of almost over 1 million lives. People lost their jobs. They lost a sense of normalcy. Children lost very significant gaps in terms of their educational process. And the effects of all of that linger. We look at the price of eggs or milk, and we know that there's still work to be done. But that's the point that the president was making, is that our administration, and he as the leader of it, is fully aware of that. And that's why we've done things like cap the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, because for too long, people who have diabetes, in particular our seniors, have looked at either bankruptcy or being able to take care of their basic health needs. That's why it is soon going to be the case, because of our leadership, that the cost of prescription medication for seniors will be capped on an annual basis at $2,000 a year. This is why on the issue of high-speed internet and access, we have brought down the cost to $30 a month for many working families, because they deserve to know that we are actually presenting solutions to some of the everyday burdens that families face, and that's the work that is happening. But there's more work to be done, and he said that clearly.
Yeah, all of us have more work to be done on many issues, but that's a whole other story. Let's talk about China. You touched on China very briefly, but we have to talk about the balloon. Okay, we know the balloon was shot down, but your administration is still getting a lot of pushback on why you didn't shoot it down earlier when it was on the West Coast before it traveled all across the country picking up who knows what. In hindsight, do you all think, well, maybe we should have taken action a little earlier? Or are you pleased with how you handled it?
I think that the president, without any question, and I spend a lot of time with him in the Oval Office when he sits behind that resolute desk, making decisions about what is in the best interest of the American people. And I wish people...
Balloon talk. Can I get my money back? Nope. That was last night, dude. The real elephant in the room is the real balloon in the room, if you know what I'm saying. Okay?
People could see what I see, because he always has the well-being and the safety of the American people first and foremost in his mind. We've been clear about policy as it relates to China. First of all, when there's a violation of our sovereignty, such as the president described last night, took the balloon down, done. But there is also the president's leadership on the broader issue of how we need to deal with China. And we've been very clear. We invite competition. We don't seek conflict or confrontation, but we are prepared.
That's like a wild thing to say, especially about China, when like, no, we are actively trying to, we're actively trying to undermine competition. Like a big part of the semiconductor or the chip shortage argument revolves directly around like China outcompeting us. We literally went to, I think, was it the Netherlands, to tell them to no longer offer additional technology to the Chinese government that they were trying to purchase, specifically because they are going to be unstoppable if they get this technology, and they will price out the Americans out of the marketplace. America has also played a role in the development of the machines that Netherlands is going to sell, but like regardless, the idea that we don't care about like we love competition. It's like, it's fucking bullshit.
Here to do what is necessary to compete, including another point the president made last night, which is our intention and our work that is about bringing jobs back to America, bringing manufacturing back to America, strengthening America's workforce, creating jobs, many of which don't require a college education, but they do require training, such as what IBEW and our apprenticeship programs through our labor unions provide. That's the kind of work we're doing, and I think the president has been very focused and clear about the priorities.
You know, last night, Joe Biden supporters said he had a great night, that he was on. He was firing on all cylinders. It's being described as a soft launch for the presidential campaign, which leads me to you, because I want to know how you're feeling. Your supporters are saying you personally are taking a lot of incoming. Will she be on the ticket? Will she not be on the ticket? She seems to be in a damned if she does, damned if she doesn't situation. How are you feeling about the job these days that you're doing and people's perception of you on the ticket?
Well, let me first of all say, as the president has said, he intends to run, and if he does, I'll be running with him. As it relates to the work of being vice president, listen, I love the American people. Today, for example, I'm going to be traveling to Atlanta, Georgia, to meet with a bunch of college students about the work we're doing on the climate crisis. We are doing, again, historic work that's about creating jobs, but also investing in a clean energy economy. Tomorrow, I'm going to be in Minnesota. Yesterday, I convened a bunch of foreign policy experts around an upcoming trip, my second trip to Munich, Germany, to speak on behalf of the American people at the Munich Security Conference. There's important good work that's happening, and I take the job very seriously, and I'm honored to serve.
All right. I know you're very busy, Madam Vice President, but I think people want to know, are you feeling okay, doing okay? But
I am doing quite well. I appreciate it, Gail. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm doing quite
Okay. Okay, more Sodu shit. Pelosi says this is the real reason why the GOP members heckled Biden. Let's take a look.
Speaker Pelosi, which I'm told I can still call you, which feels more natural if that's okay. Speaker Pelosi, there's something else I want to get your response to. And again, it is a minority of the Republicans that we're talking about, not a majority of them. Yeah. But there was heckling like I've never really heard at a State of the Union address. Let's play some of that.
Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. And I tell you, I enjoy conversion.
Now, we should just point out, as a matter of fact, that Republican Senator Rick Scott of Florida has proposed sunsetting all federal programs, which presumably would include Social Security and Medicare. What did you think of the heckling?
I think that they were protesting too much. They knew that they have been identified as putting Medicare and Social Security on the table, and they were trying to dismiss that. But the fact is, it still is part of who they are. They never really supported it to begin with, but rather than go into that, as we go forward, the president has said, how do you intend to lift the debt ceiling, reduce the national debt? Tell us what your programs are. And up until now, they have been talking about it. And their leader of their Senate campaign committee, as you mentioned, Senator Scott, had that as the priority of what they would do. So this was sort of showbiz.
Mm-hmm. It didn't bother you, though, the lack of decorum?
No. Well, actually, they were, for them, fairly well behaved from what we see every day of the week in the House of Representatives, unfortunately.
The flip side of that, and we were talking about this before you came on, was that the president interacted and reacted to that in a way that, maybe showed people what he was made of. What did you think of that?
Well, first of all, let me just say thank you for the opportunity to say how great I think the president was tonight. I mean, what do we want in a president? We want judgment. We want values. We want knowledge. Therefore, judgment springing from that. And we want connection to the American people. We want a hopeful message, and that's what he gave us. He proved it by what we have done, but recognizing there's much more to be done. So his interaction, I think, was a sign of his comfort level of all that I just said.
He did talk about his desire to work with Republicans who are now in control of the chamber. Given your experience with dealing with or not dealing with people across the aisle, how realistic is that right now?
Oh, I'm hopeful that that is possible, but all of it depends on the American people. President Lincoln, you've heard me say, he said, public sentiment is everything. With it, you can accomplish almost anything. Without it, practically nothing. So the message has to go to the American people. This is what the choices are: chaos or stability. And they have demonstrated how chaotic they can be from the first day of their electing a speaker to their behavior on the floor. On the other hand, There are some in the infrastructure bill. We had 13 Republicans who voted with us, making it bipartisan. With the CHIPS and Science bill, we had 24 Republicans, but nonetheless, bipartisanship.
Still counting votes.
But it was interesting to me because on the CHIPS and Science, they wouldn't vote with us until they saw we were going to win it on our own, and then they saw that that was evident, so they came on board. But you know, we always have to. We know that some of them know what it. They were for the bill the day before the CHIPS and Science, and then the day of, they managed the opposition to it. But we knew that many of them believed in making these chips in America.
And many Republicans we know went home to their districts and touted the bill, even if they voted against it. I did want to ask you.
As the president said about infrastructure and chips, I'll see you at the groundbreaking.
I do want to go back a little bit to what Dana was saying, because this context here of this speech is a president who may run for re-election pretty soon. And I mean, you've probably heard by now, a recent poll found about 30% of, only about 30% of Democrats say he should run again. It seems like a lot of Democrats, they're happy with Joe Biden. They think he's done a great job, but they're wondering if he should step to the side. You have made that choice on your own, ushering in a new generation of Democrats into the House. What do you say to that criticism? And do you think that he did anything tonight to quiet some of the restiveness among Democrats about should Joe Biden be the person leading the party into the future?
Well, last weekend I was at the Democratic National Committee meeting in Philadelphia, and I know that there were some who would say perhaps we should consider somebody new. But even in the 30% poll that you said, like 90% of Democrats would be for Joe Biden if he runs. Sure. What they might hope for in this earlier stages of a campaign and what they have decided they would do are actually two different things. They are for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is a person of vision, knowledge, judgment, strategic thinking to get the job done. He was a remarkable 2 years.
The dick riding is absolutely out of control, okay? You know?
A remarkable 2 years, and again, connects very empathetically with the American people. So I hope he runs. I'm for him if he runs, and I know that the Democrats will fully embrace him. If he runs, it's over.
You don't think there will be any primary challengers to him?
I don't think so.
Dana was talking to AOC earlier today, and she said something, Dana, correct me if I'm wrong, to the effect of she appreciates the primary process. I mean, do you think there will be any Democrats who jump in to try to challenge Joe Biden on this generational argument?
No, I don't. I think that you have to weigh all of the equities. Yes, the age issue is something that we all have to contend with in every line of work. But I do think that the fact is, weighing the equities, this is a president, 12 million jobs, all of the things that he has done. He has a record unmatched by any recent president. I mean, maybe Franklin Roosevelt, who wasn't recent, but Franklin Roosevelt had 319 Democrats. We had.
Bro, this is such a funny fucking take because it doesn't matter. Like, even if 100% of the Congress was Democratic, we have seen that, and this is objectively true. I'm sorry if you don't recognize this, you're delusional. Even if we had the entire Congress be Democrat, the Democrats themselves are the ones who end up cucking the policy. We saw it happen. We saw it happen when we did have the votes specifically, or we did have enough Democrats supposedly to pass things through budget reconciliation. And that fell short. That fell short of what was the bare minimum that Joe Biden ran on. That's it. Oh, man, the parliamentarian. There's always a way. There is always a way.
Had 220 and got done that record of achievement. So he knows how to he knows he has a big vision, a shared vision with America. He is a unifier. He really is. It doesn't go looking for differences. He goes to look for hopeful unity. And he talked about 4 unifying things when he talked about the cancer moonshot. He talked about veterans. He talked about the issues that relate to fentanyl, but also mental health issues that sort of relate to that, where we've made some progress in a unified way. So he's always hopeful about that. So I think he made progress. He gave us hope. He made it clear we have much more to get done. We didn't finish our job, but we really went down the path in a way that demonstrated that he's a president with great judgment. Sometimes that judgment comes with age. I remember when Jerry Brown was running for office when he was young, he said, it's time for a change. Then when he ran for governor the second time, he said, there's no substitute for experience. Experience counts for a lot. I think tonight he showed the energy, the empathy, the hopefulness that a presidential candidate would have. I think it was a triumph for him, for the country, and certainly for the Democrats. People were so excited about his presentation.